And we are back with another episode of Transformers Forged to Fight. And of course, in today's episode, I am going to be continuing my goal of trying to 100% Act 3. Now, as you can see, I did make some progress in between the last episode to today's episode. I did 100% Quest 2 and Quest 3 on my own. And I really wish I recorded a little bit of footage for Quest number 3 because there was one lane that I found very annoying, and I'm going to show what that lane is because there's a mod in it that I'm not a fan of. And that goes to that question, what mod do you not like in this game? Because there are quite a few that I'm not a fan of when it comes to how they're used in these harder fights. So, in this particular lane in Quest 3 of Chapter 2, there is this mod. I believe it's called Rampage 4. That's what it says right there. It says, start with a resistant buff and all attack buffs. Each attack buff adds 150% and is removed when hit by the corresponding attack. When all attack buffs are removed, the resistant buff is nullified. Buffs return in 20 seconds. So basically, in this fight, which I'm going to show here, your damage that you do to the enemy bot is reduced. You can see how he's not really taking much damage. But if you do proc like bleed and stuff onto him, he will lose health. So the way to get rid of this thing by nullifying it, you need to use a special skill. So let me just try to do that. If I can land a hit on it, okay. There we go. So by landing this SP1, you can see how it's nullified his buff. Now you can do damage. Right? And then this cycle repeats itself because you can see how there's a timer. And in like a few more seconds, he's gonna have his buff again. I need to try to get him to use SP2. Oh, there we go. There we go. So now the buff is back. What I need to do here is I need to land another SP1. Right? There we go. That did not nullify it, surprisingly, so it's really freaking random. But, as you can see, the bleed is taking effect, and there you go. You can still defeat the bot that way. And one thing I don't like about this is the fact that that was just one fight. This entire lane that I did clear is all that. That is the mod that I do not like so far right now. I know the other mod I hate is the cycle one where they become resistant to physical, and then it switches to range, and then it switches to special attacks. That one's also annoying too. I feel like there's probably a few other ones I don't like. I just don't remember what they were. But now I discovered this one is another one I don't like. And I'm pretty sure this was in the original version of the game when it was under Kabam. I don't exactly remember. It's been quite some time. So that is one thing that I did not like clearing through when I was playing the game in the week, of course, between the last episode and, of course, to today's episode. So, not a fan of that mod. And hopefully, today's quest here that we're going to try to 100% does not present any challenges, but it definitely probably will. All right. I'm going to be using this team because it seems like these lanes are getting a little bit difficult. However, I do want to see if I can upgrade anybody. I haven't been really focused on upgrading any new bots, which is not good, because there is that whole forging level thing. I don't know if I want to like get rid of some of the 3-star bots I have, because they're like my base defenders right now, and I don't really see the point of doing that. Maybe, I don't know, I could do that and use them for forge levels. I should probably try to buy more 3-star bots. Okay. I guess we'll just see what happens. Let's start Identity Crisis, which we've already done the story bit for, so let's try to 100% today. By going through the hard lane all the way down there. This is not gonna be fun, is it? Please do not be an annoying Alright, let's see what the mod is. Let me see that. Here we go. Doesn't look like there's... Oh! Trigger rate. I honestly don't know what that means. Is that like the range attack? I don't really know what that means. Okay, hopefully that's not too bad. Let's find out what we're dealing with here. Oh, it's this mod. I don't actually know what this mod does for them. Because it's not like the range mod, where it just increases their range attack speed. So, don't know what that's all about. Okay. Oh. Okay, yeah, use the SP1. I don't like your SP2, and I don't... Oh, no. Oh, no. Nope. Oh, okay, okay, please. Please have a little bit of mercy here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Hey, level 43. Let's go. Perfect timing. All right. Okay, next fight. Usually I always have a topic that I want to talk about. But for today, um, I don't actually know what I want to talk about today. It's kind of like one of those things where, like, I don't always have a topic every time. It's just like whatever comes to my mind, I just talk about. Um, so what do I want to talk about in today's episode? Oh, you know what? I'll just talk about the Gundam model kit stuff. That's been happening with me lately. So, a few weeks ago, I went to the Gundam USA tour that was held at the Irvine Spectrum Mall Center, whatever that place was called. If you live in Southern California, and if you've been to the city of Irvine and been to that place, you would know what I'm talking about. So the Gundam USA tour happened there this year, or I think there's been a few that's happened this entire year, I believe. Or was this the first one of this year? I think this was the first one of this year. There was one like 5 months ago, if I remember correctly, which I think was last year. And this sort of pop-up event is basically for people who buy model kits to be able to buy some of those exclusive model kits. Um, but the stock is also available on their website as well. So, you can just get it directly there, but you have to pay for shipping. The only good thing about this pop-up event is you don't have to pay for shipping. However, depending on where you live, you got to worry about that gas fee because Irvine is not close to where I live. It's still quite a drive, and depending on like traffic and everything, it is, you know, at most like a 45 to an hour drive. And I went to this pop-up because I was like, you know what? Let's see what this is all about, right? Because I've never been to any pop-up for any sort of thing related to Gundam. Most of the Gundam kits that I have, some of them were acquired through Amazon, some of them were bought at actual local hobby shops, but I've never partaked in such an event. And it was kind of a cool thing to see some of those kits that they were showing off that were new products and stuff displayed in the area where they were showing the new products. So getting to see some of those new things in person is pretty cool. And of course, after looking through all that stuff, there's the shopping part of it, right? So I was going there just because I wanted to be like, okay, if there's like some Gundam Universe figures that I want to buy those. And, Gundam Universe figures you can buy anywhere. Like, you don't need to go to some sort of pop-up event to buy them. But, me being me, I was like, well, I don't really buy model kits all too often, and if I do, like, what model kit am I gonna build? I don't know what to build. And I went to this event with my cousins. So when we got into the little trailer thing, because it's literally a trailer, it's like a little mini pop-up trailer where that's where all the stock is stored or something. And what they had was what they had, and stock changes like every day from what I heard. So what other people saw, we didn't see. So, we did look at photos that people took like the days before, and we didn't see the same thing that they did. And basically, I was looking for like a kit that would be interesting, and I saw a real grade high new Gundam kit. And at first I was like, that looks cool. But the last time I built the real grade wasn't a fun experience because that was my first time ever building a real grade. And that's the fun thing about model kits is that you kind of have to start from somewhere to try to improve your skills of building these things and doing it right. It's not like Legos. And that's what I find interesting about model kits is that since I'm not so used to like building them completely yet, because the most I've built so far have been a good amount of high grades, which high grades are pretty much like the more simpler, easier kits to build. They're not that hard to even build. Anyone can build a high grade if you just follow those instructions. But real grades have like an internal skeleton frame, and you have to do a lot of that work before you apply the armor pieces onto the frame itself. So the last thing I built before this event was even announced, because I don't think it was announced at that point in time, was the MGSD Barbados kit. And that was my first time building a master grade kit, but it was of an SD Gundam. And for those of you that don't know what an SD Gundam is, it's like a chibi style Gundam where they're short and they look all kind of. Why did I not dodge that? Again, commentary and gameplay. I'm so bad at this combination, but it's okay. All right, continuing my point. That kit I needed to build the internal frame before applying the armor pieces onto the frame. So that was my first time ever building something that I thought would be very difficult, but I found out that it wasn't too bad. It was a little bit simpler than I thought. However, because it is a chibi Gundam, the parts for it are still very tiny, so I found that some parts of the building process was a pain to do because my fingers are quite thick, so they're not meant for holding some of these smaller pieces. And even using a tweezer wasn't like the best thing to do. But nevertheless, even through all the struggles, I still got the kit completed, and it was quite a fun thing to build. So now, fast forward to what I picked up at the little pop-up event. I have that real grade kit to tackle in the future. And I also have another real grade kit, which is the 45th anniversary 2.0 version of the RX-78 Grandpa Gundam, as many of us like to refer to that suit as, because he is the first Gundam suit in the franchise. And that one has a new entire frame that updates all the previous real grade frames from what they said. And I am very scared to tackle these two kits right now. Because the thing about model kits that you need to be aware of is that even if you know how to build it, you have to be very patient and you have to be very like observant of what you're doing, because once you put some of the pieces on, it's very hard to take out sometimes. And there are apparently tools where you can remove the pieces easily. I don't have those tools at the moment. My cousin discovered these tools, and I was like, we need those. Because I make mistakes, just like how when I build Legos, I make mistakes too. So, yeah. All right, target vitals. All right, shouldn't be too bad. So, not only are those in my pile of 2 builds on my list, I still have like 4 high grade kits that I haven't even tackled. Actually, no, not 4, 5, because I recently also got the new kit from the new Gundam anime that's going to come out, I believe, next month. It's the main suit from that one. So that's the other thing about model kits that I find so freaking hilarious is that once you get into this hobby, once you start buying kits, you end up realizing that you have more of a pile than you do of something that's completed. Because I have a cousin who's very into building model kits, and he was telling me that he still has like a large pile that he has to go through, and I'm like, oh, I do not want to have a pile like that. I've seen like what it looks like, and I'm like, I don't want to get too far into that. So right now, I already have a pile that I have to deal with, and I don't want to add any more to that. And the crazy part is, I've seen some of the recent reveals for other MGSDs that they have shown. I think the most recent one was the aerial that they revealed, and then the Wing Gundam they already released. That's 2 more MGSD kits that I want to pick up, and I'm like, I haven't even gone through this pile. I'm just gonna add more. It's just like you just keep adding more to the pile, and now I'm starting to know what that feels like because I have a pile of my own now. Because before I didn't even have a pile. I pretty much got everything built. And usually after I build everything, I do some finalizations to it to the best I can because again, I'm not like the best at customizing model kits. I don't know how to do all that yet. Um and I don't throw away those plastic bags that the runners come in. I actually keep them. Or I keep like 2 of them because one is to store the Gundam back into, and the other one is for their accessories that you build as well. And I pretty much keep them in their boxes because, in my honest opinion, model kit plastic is pretty fragile. It's not the best. Um, and I'm kind of scared of the longevity of how well they'll hold up in the future. Because I've had a few of them kind of just break. Maybe they were just bad batches. I don't know. Or maybe I just didn't take good care of them. But with these kits that I recently built, and also the ones I finished a while back, those ones I cherish a lot because it was the first time I actually went into a particular Gundam series and wanted to build most of the kits from. And that was the Witch from Mercury kits. And I still have like 2 Witch from Mercury kits that I haven't even gone through yet. And yeah, so you know, the hobby is fun. I can see why a lot of people like building model kits because the building experience itself is actually very calming. When I finished building this like red Zaku from I think it was from Build Fighters. I don't know what the actual name of it was called. This kit was the kit that my cousin didn't want. He just gave it to me for free. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I want to build this because I've never built a Zaku before. So I finally built it. And I panel lined every part that I could panel line. Yeah, it was a very fun thing to build. Now, I did make a mistake on one side of the arm, which is really funny. And I'm like, no, I made a mistake there. But, that's the thing about building these kits is that you just you make a mistake and then you learn that okay, next time follow the instructions better and not make this mistake. And this is why I am not going to tackle those 2 real grade kits because if I'm still making mistakes like this on high grade kits, which are not even like the hardest kits to build, I do not want to make that kind of same mess up on an actual real grade because the real grade kits also present another challenge with something that I haven't done yet. So most high grade kits have stickers that are included. And usually when you're building a certain piece, they tell you, okay, you need to put a sticker here or here. Some of them don't have much. Some of them are mainly just stickers for the eyes. But with these two real grade kits, they have water decals, which, for those of you that don't know what water decals are, they're basically stickers, but the way to apply them is that you need to use, I believe, warm water to get them loose. And then once they go on the area where they're supposed to go on, they stay longer and they stick longer than the regular stickers that, you know, Bandai always includes with the model kits that they use the normal stickers for. So I have not done water decals. And this is why I have this weird feeling I just need to find a cheap real grade kit that's not too expensive that I could probably use as a throwaway as a way to test. And then maybe if I can get better doing it through that test, then I'll have more of a courage to tackle these two real great kits that I have right now that are not built. And I don't even know why I bought the High New. I know a lot of people have said that it's a really good kit, but it's like, I am not good at building these. If I'm already still having trouble putting on stickers properly on a Lego set, this is not going to be fun. But it is going to be a good learning experience. That's one thing I will say from this. So, yeah. So model kits. And if you do build model kits, if any of you actually do also have interest in this, do let me know in the comments below what your opinions are. Because for me, since I'm still kind of new to this, I would say that I still am. Even though I've built a good amount, I'm not the greatest at this. Like, I've seen how my cousin built his model kits. He does a way better job than I do. Like 10 times better than I do. I've seen what he does to like sand down some of the areas where, because usually when you cut the pieces from the runner using a plier, I think it's called a plier, right, or clipper. Oh no, it's a nipper. Yeah, that's what the tool is called. Um, there are certain tools you can use to sand down the plastic, so then it can get rid of that ugly sort of like cut area where it looks like it was cut from the runner. So I have not used those techniques yet. So some of my kits that I built, you can still see those little marks where it's like, oh, this was on the runner. Um, but luckily, most of the kits that I built are just high grades, and they're not, on any of the more crazier ones. Now, the MGST one that I did build, I did do a lot of sanding too, because I do have the tools for that, and I'm glad I have the tools for that, and I actually tested it on that kit, and yeah, you just have to like do each piece slowly until you kind of get rid of it, and then it'll look more cleaner. So yeah, with model kits, there are a lot of sort of like tiny things you have to do in the build process, but in the long run, once you get all of that done, it'll turn out to be something very beautiful. So, yep. Now, which building experience do I find more fun, Legos or model kits? Honestly, I say I enjoy both. In this case, I enjoy both. Even though one sounds more like a pain than the other one does, I think it's like two different experiences that you can't really like say that they're the same. Because building Legos, it's not exactly the same sort of style. Like with Legos, you're not doing any of this crazy custom stuff too. Like you're not using a freaking Gundam marker. You're not sanding down pieces. You're just following instructions on which brick goes where, or yeah. So it's not too difficult to build Legos anyways. But as I said before, I make mistakes building Legos too. Um, the Lantern Festival sort of sets that I built recently. There were a few parts on that set where during the build process, I just screwed up and I was like, oh, why did I not look at the instructions right? So I have this weird problem. Not really a weird problem. I think most of us can I think most of you can probably relate sometimes too, where you're building so fast and then you think that you did something right, but then you realize you screwed up on something. That's how I am with Legos. And I've never really gotten that sort of problem out of my system. Like every time I build a new Lego set, it's like I'm speed building that thing. And then I find out that this piece is not supposed to go there and I have to go back, change things, and I'm like, why does this always happen? But you know, that's what makes the building process so fun is you realize that you just have to be patient. You can't just rush everything, right? Um, but those people who know how to speed build, oh, that's crazy. They're just really good at building. Because I've seen some people speed build even Gunpla, and it's not impossible. Because from what I've heard, anything that you're good at like doing as something that you're so used to, it just becomes second nature. And a lot of the people that I watch who build model kits, they've been doing this for a very long time. So to them, it's like something that they just easily know what to do quickly. Like sometimes they don't even follow the instruction from like page one. They just start with wherever they feel like starting. Some people start with building the legs of the robot first, then they jump onto the arm and then the torso. Usually for me, I just follow page one. I never skip like an entire like instruction section and just jump straight to like that spot. But some people do because they're so used to doing this that they already know what to do. Like the moment that they build the legs, they already know that the legs on the left or the right, depending on which one they started with, is going to be like a mirrored of the same parts, but they just have to do it the other way around. So they already pretty much have like that down. So yeah, building stuff is like one of those sort of hobbies that it has a funness to it. I will say that. Um, there are a lot of things that I do want to try though. Like not just like customizing my model kits, but I've said this in past videos. I really do want to try customizing my action figures. I really do. Like the little tweaks that I've done to some of them so far, that's just like the surface. I really hope that I can do more in the future with my action figures because um there's this one video that I think I might link in the comment below just to like share with you guys if you are curious of what that video is about. There's a guy on YouTube that I saw his video. I don't remember the channel name because it slipped out of my mind, but I have the video liked just because I really love what he did with using McFarlane figures to make custom Invincible figures. And if you know the show Invincible, um, I really want a figure line of the characters from that show. I know Diamond Select did make figures of them, but Diamond Select is kind of iffy to me with the way that they use their plastic quality sometimes. So, and their figures, aren't cheap either. Like, yeah, they probably come with more accessories, but I have a few like Marvel Select figures that are made by the same company, and they're good figures, but I don't know what it is, but the plastic material that they use, it doesn't feel the same. Like it just feels more I wouldn't say fragile, but it does feel like if you're not careful, you might break something. Like let's just put it that way. So I'm not like crazy about their Invincible figures. Like they look okay, but I'm like maybe if another company tackles it. I'm surprised McFarlane hasn't made any Invincible figures. Or maybe he has, I don't know. Yeah, because McFarlane is one of the co-owners of Image Comics, so it's a surprise to me that he hasn't made any figures for that comic book, but okay. Or maybe he did. I don't know. I don't know if he ever did. But point is, in this video, this person used McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. He pretty much took like parts to kit bash them, and made some very, very good customs out of them. Now, some pieces are not from McFarlane Figures. I think he had to get them custom made. But the way these figures turned out are just insane. Like, at that point, do you even need to buy official ones if you can make customs that look like this? And the style of paint that this guy applied to some of these customs are so good. And I really like what he did with the characters that he did make using certain parts from McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. It's really cool to see what you can do with action figures in this sense when it comes to customization. Like, it's truly something that's just beautiful. Anytime I see anyone make like a cool custom out of any sort of action figure that they're using as the base, it's just something to look at, you know? And I always just like appreciate these people for being able to do this, because it's like, you guys are so talented at this. Meanwhile, me, I'm like, I never thought about doing any of this stuff before. And I don't know if I ever will, because like, where do I start? You know? So like every time I talk about how like, oh, this area could be better painted in my reviews, it's like, how come I don't ever do something about it? And now the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe I should try to do something. I should try to customize something more than just, you know, than what it is. Yeah, I got a chrome marker and I've painted certain things and made it metallic like looking. But that's like not even the hardest thing to do. That's like a simple little tweak that you can do to any figure, honestly. But when it comes to customization like this level, ooh, I've never explored that. So I do hope that, you know, in this hobby, when it comes to action figures and even, I guess, building stuff like model kits and Legos, I do experiment with some of these sort of customization processes. I do hope that I can get there one day and just start with something and try to make my first custom of some kind. I'm not going to guarantee when that'll happen because, again, right now I just don't know how to start these sort of things, but when I do have an idea and I feel like I am comfortable with experimenting on a custom, I definitely will probably make that happen, and I'll probably make a video on it. Who knows? Whenever that happens. So, yeah. I guess today has been quite a festive episode and talking about, you know, a certain other hobby that I'm into. Not just collecting action figures, but also building stuff. And I don't know if I talked about the building thing before. Maybe I have. You know, now I'm starting to forget like what I've talked about and what I haven't, which is so typical of me. So, all right. And I guess that's going to be pretty much it with this topic that I'm talking about today. But yeah, model kits. They're fun to build, but they can be a little bit tedious sometimes. But that is, you know, what you expect when it comes to this sort of build style hobby. It has its own difficulties, you know, but it is quite a fun thing to do. I love the last two model kits that I built in recent time. Like, they were just the funnest experience I've had. And there is one other kit that I actually want to build this month. I don't know if I will build it this month, but if I ever do build it, maybe I can make a short on it. I don't know. I don't ever make a short talking about the model kit stuff. I don't ever make videos talking about the model kit stuff because, you know, it's just something that I've never really not to include in the channel, but it is part of another side of a hobby that I should probably archive. As I've said in many of my videos, this channel, you know, is for me to archive my current hobbies that I'm interested in. Like, that is the main goal to why I make these videos. You know, to share my passion for the hobbies that I'm into with those of you who also are into something similar, right? So, Okay. I know I should probably 100% this, but I don't want to waste an energy refill at the moment since I'm literally like just 3 energy away from that. So I think I'm gonna call it for this episode. And this quest will be 100%ed. Let me see if there's anything else I can do. Okay, there's really nothing else to open here. All right. Well, in the next episode, we'll continue, of course, with the next quest and try to 100% that. This quest will be 100%ed after the recording of this episode, of course, because it's literally just 3 energy away. So, with that said, if you found today's episode enjoyable, do give this video a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel for more Transformers Forge to Fight content, or my action figure content that I also focus on as well, you can. You don't have to. In the end of the day, I make these videos for fun. And with that said, take care, and I will see you in the next episode.